Salutations, and it's been a while. Welcome to the Cars, Bars, and Guitars podcast, episode
113.
Well, I'm AJ.
And I'm Steve.
Steve, who we brought to you today by...
Arbitrage.
Oh, hey. Don't you know it's arbitrage?
Yeah, buying low, selling high.
Yes.
Finally making some headway in the Raspberry Pi market by finding a website that happens to have stock and then reselling them for perhaps double.
You're going to have to tell me off air how much they cost versus how much you net and gross, but
yes.
I digress. Well,
Whereas the Pi kits that are in the works are those haven't adjusted in price since you got yours.
Well, okay, that's good. Some things aren't inflation reactionary.
Paying attention to what they cost on eBay's on usually.
Yep. Steve, what are you drinking today?
My current closed can here is a Goose Island Christmas IPA, courtesy of a 24-pack of random stuff I got at Costco because, of course, I did.
So what makes it a Christmas IPA?
The can looks like a sweater. It's festively smooth, their words.
Festively smooth. Not festively smooth.
Seriously, nothing on this beyond the patterning on the can.
So it doesn't have like nutmeg or anything Christmassy like that?
I don't know. I've not tried it yet.
Well, you gave me a Golden Road Brewing Christmas Cart wheat ale with cherries and spice.
Given my disdain for Sam Adams' cherry wheat, I figured it'd be right up your alley.
Yes.
Crispy.
Wow, okay. Oh, hell yes.
This now tastes more like a 7.5% IPA.
This one does not bite like cherry wheat does, so you probably wouldn't mind that.
Oh, well. It's yours.
And also, we're drinking Old Forester 1897 bottled in bond, furthering the proof that anything that says bottled in bond on it is probably not bad.
Yep.
So it's obviously 100 proof, and it's made of old Subarus, as you pointed out.
Yeah, it's like all these numbering schemes. It's like all those new Western shows on the TV.
Have you seen the people adding Baru at the end, so it's a Subaru Baru? Well, Katinket. Happy
Cheers.
New Beer. Very, very smooth.
That's real nice, Clark. Real nice.
That would be good. That'd be a good whiskey for somebody who didn't like a lot of bite, because I kind of tend to like a little more pepper and punch to it, but that's a dangerous whiskey.
Usually people will make punch with vodka, not whiskey.
Not us.
Or rum.
Not us. I had a dream that I went on a date with Laura Prepon. You know who that is, don't you? And it was quite a fucking good dream, actually, because I've always had a huge... And Emily's like, who the hell is that? I'm like, Donna on that 70s show? I never watched that 70s show.
That reminds me of a joke I saw on the Mindy Project when she's talking to her brother about having met Topher Grace. Like, hey, he's an actor from that 70s show. I don't know that 70s show. I was born in 1991. Dude, that's a solid joke.
Well, the 90s were as far away as the 70s were when that 70s show came out.
And now there's that 90s show in the works.
I'm intrigued by that, actually.
Well, given that the 80s show crashed and burned, there's nowhere to go but up.
Fucking what? It was not even a whole season.
Yeah. It kind of suffered the same fate as Freaks and Geeks.
At my old store, Tevin, I was explaining to him that the Geico Cavemen had their own sitcom. And he said, I assume it didn't last long. I was like, one episode, the pilot, that was it. He said, was it a series of skits? I said, no, that might have actually worked with just different. However, it was them actually living in, like, it was like Friends, but with cavemen. He goes, well, I've just lost the will to live, AJ. I said, that's why they took it off the air, buddy. That was a long time ago.
Then again, Friends had its own spinoff that was a different caveman named Joey.
They did, didn't they? I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me, Steve.
My condolences.
I don't... All right, so it's harmless. I get why people like it. I get why people don't like it, but it's not that bad. Like, I feel like Big Bang Theory is worse than Friends because it's trying to be something it's not instead of just a campy sitcom, but who the fuck am I to judge?
It's just random stuff in syndication and always will be. And neither one's Seinfeld.
I need to watch more Seinfeld because every time I watch Seinfeld, I enjoy the shit out of it, and I just don't watch it. I don't watch much TV though.
Yeah, you have Comedy Central, right?
Yes.
Because if it's not Adam Sandler movies, it's all The Office and Seinfeld.
I haven't done that either.
And you have a DVR, so there's that.
Well, I'm also podcast.
Or
Like I listen to podcasts and playing video games, and
also alternative means, DVD rentals.
Yep. And playing guitar and write. My New Year's resolution was to finish my second album, and because I didn't really work on it hardly at all last year. I've already got all the rhythm tracks re-recorded bass-wise, got the new intro, which I'll play for you later. But
are you still using the title that you landed on earlier?
Yes.
Never mind, Anthrax did something very similar 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, well.
It's a different genre. I'm not writing a thrash album. Nobody's going to mix them up.
Yeah.
However, it's going to be cool. The start of it's going to be like the start of a program, and the end is going to be like, I thought about having like Star Spangled Banner play, because when TVs used to sign off, it would play that.
Yeah.
Kind of have that and some white noise going on and something else, and then have the Star Spangled Banner start playing backwards. It's just something really cool. The start is like a test and beeping, and then like preview, and then it just beeps, and then it builds up, and then it goes into the intro.
It's spin on Songs for the Deaf, isn't it? The whole like radio theme throughout that one.
Yes, except it's kind of like TV this time.
Yeah.
Even though it's an audio, never mind.
Hey, whatever works. For what it's worth, I still have a pair of CRT televisions to perhaps have some fun with the album on it, assuming I can get what I have in mind for it.
Yeah.
More things for off air.
Fuck yeah. So what does CRT stand for?
Cathode Ray Tube. Before it became critical race theory. Oh, no.
I knew that part. And I know what HRT is, hormone replacement. So the tubes, the old tube TVs were basically just like what I have in my amplifier, like tubes, right?
I think so, yeah. It's a vacuum tube.
That's it. And they're fucking expensive.
Yeah.
However.
Which is funny that television technology, that's just been completely obliterated. Never mind, by the end of it, they had some really neat stuff going on, but they still had a posterior that Sir Mix-a-Lot would love, and were 200 pounds.
Yeah, I think the thing is, but with TV, the medium is mostly visual, so tubes don't enhance the visuality.
Visuality of
the visual light of it.
It's only till now that flat screens can do the refresh rates and the color contrast that a tube had mastered 20 years ago. Right.
I think my parents still have that giant fucking antenna on the top of and then they have the thing where you move it and you can hear it. It was a simpler time.
I've got a smaller variety of that at home when we were considering ditching AT&T DirecTV.
Yes.
But that prevailed, but I still have the capacity to get broadcasts in 70 different channels and record it over a Tableau, not the production metric software, but a program that lets you record up to 2 shows at one time onto this box into a external hard drive.
Gotcha. And Steve, welcome to the new and improved studio. Guitars aren't hanging on the wall anymore. There's no giant holes everywhere from the previous owner that I never fixed. And
the guitars were hiding them. What are you talking about? The map's down.
The map is down. It's officially retired in there. For now. You never know when it might make another appearance.
How are you going to bless the rains down in Africa?
You know, I actually thought about hanging it on the blinds and just in front of the blind. Because I really need to block off. Because the reason I have it kind of cockeyed like that is because the sun kind of beats in. And I don't want to discolor any of my guitars. So I think I'm about just hanging it back up there. That way, just drilling into there instead of the actual wall. But I like the color. It was like a fucking, I don't know what, it was lilac something or other. And I was like, I like that color.
I was thinking it looks very lavender.
Mm-hmm. It was like lavender, lavenlick.
Lavenlick.
And our buddy Brian gave me a shitload of cigars, and in the humidor. There's like 20 in there now, so I need to refresh it because they're probably all stale now. But
Too bad I quit smoking.
all together, finally threw in the towel.
No, it's really easy to do when I don't regularly do it.
No, it's,
I've got enough breathing trouble as it is.
yeah. Or we were talking about cigars at work the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, it was an older guy, and he was just asking me if I like cigars. I don't know why the fuck that came up, but I think he's a Freud fan. But he was like, yeah, my dad smoked cigars, and he would just sit on the porch, like especially during a thunderstorm, and just smoke a cigar and listen to the rain and inhale them. I'm like, what a fucking animal. Jesus Christ, man. Inhaling like a fucking Lucky Strike cigarette with no, that's this much tobacco.
That's going to be brutal.
But that's an aggressive amount of tobacco.
Did I tell you that the band Weekend Excursion played over New Year's? No. It was my buddy's band that I knew from Greensboro back in the day, and
interesting.
They broke up 20 years ago, but will have annual reunion shows. So them having played for CNN over New Year's was a really big deal.
Interesting.
I have no idea how that came to be.
You
but
said CNN?
Yeah, for like their New Year's show.
So a big... Okay.
it lives on YouTube, so I'll watch it one of these days. But back in the day, they played a tour that was sponsored by Lucky Strike.
No shit.
This would have been 15, 20 years ago. Yeah, probably 20 years ago, since their last show they played at the Cat's Cradle in Carborough was 03, 04, like sometime during the time I was living in the Raleigh area.
Jeez. Are you saying Filter's not allowed to open for them? What style of music was it?
It's rock.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you'd like them.
All right, cool. So, like...
Because I was friends with the drummer, and, like, courtesy of that, got into a lot of shows on the free, and this is a lot of which before I turned 21. So their manager, as a token of appreciation for me supporting the band, wanted to buy me a beer, but legally couldn't do that yet.
Well, he didn't have to know about it.
Yeah, what happens? Like the ALE board is going to be there kicking me and Mark out. Right.
Well, they used to do that with Lane Staley. They would have to, when Alice in Chains had first started, he couldn't go in until they performed because he was under 21. And so he had to wait outside, and then when they went on, they would let him come in and perform, and then as soon as he got done, he had to leave the venue again.
That's messed
up. I know, but hell, I've been on a huge Alice in Chains kick lately.
Aren't you always?
Also, I still do, but I used to too.
Thanks, Mitch.
That, and I was on an Oasis kick for a long time. So, Greg, if you're watching this, I'm sorry to spoil it, but this week he's getting Opeth, Ghost Reveries. So,
Damnation's still my favorite of theirs.
Gotcha. I don't know what he said. I'm going to be like, what the fuck when he gives me, but you did guess the double albums from a couple of weeks ago. On first guess, and you were very surprised with yourself. Do you remember that on New Year's?
You told me something about that, so I managed to generate the correct answer, whatever it was.
I gave him Melancholy, and he gave me The Wall from Pink Floyd. And I liked it, but that's not an album I'm going to listen to a couple songs on it. It's like you have to kind of listen to it front to back for it to make sense.
Yeah, you only had a couple of the songs that were the radio hits. Otherwise, they were trying to tell the story that really harkens back to Nick Mason really hating his mother.
Me and Nick Mason are like,
Hey-o.
Have you driven any cool shit since last September?
Yeah, a couple of WRXs.
Are they as fun as they seem? I figured so.
Yeah, that was entertaining. And even a 14 Outback with a 6-speed didn't suck, except dragging the belly pan all over Charlotte so it scraped every time I hit a bump or every time I decelerated. I was like, oh, that's what's happening? Whatever.
Looks pretty. 29 miles per gallon, 173 horsepower. I mean, 8.80 to 60. Did it feel that?
It didn't feel slow, whereas the 21 Stick Impreza sucked.
Emmy's HRV is supposedly 9.20 to 60. It's not fast, but she's very rarely on the highway. So my new idea is to leave the Manual Transmission Society and go for a Maverick.
Have you seen his marbles, folks? He's lost them.
Well, they don't. They
No,
just,
what you really need is like an '04 Tacoma, like the last of the small ones, but those were expensive ahead of the curve.
well, I like the idea of the 4-door truck, only so I can keep my shit I don't mind, or I can put the stuff in the bed like the PA, the speakers in the toolbox, but I could keep my guitar and like my amp head because playing trio shows now, and keep that stuff that's more temperature sensitive inside the cabin with me. Can't really do that with a single cab. With your old truck, probably could, but it just had to finagle it.
Yeah, it wasn't until the '05 model they had the suicide doors and the stretch cab, or the full-on 4-door with a manual option from '05 forward.
Now, Japanese Classics has a couple of 4-door with the cutout in the back, sort of like, I think they got the Nissan, the hardbody, and the Taco like that. Let me see if I can pull up. Problem is, well, it's basically the same parts. It's just right-hand drive. So it's not like you couldn't find parts for these things. Correct. Ooh, a Hilux Surf. Can't get that in a stick.
Well, that's effectively a 4Runner.
Yeah, I think that's...
At least that's what it started life as back in '84.
Yeah. Here it is.
Ironic to call it the Surf when those things rusted if you looked at them wrong.
Right.
I'm sure I told you about my cousin's husband's '85 4Runner.
Your cousin?
Rest in peace, Tom. Yes, please.
I like that. And it's turbo diesel.
But yeah, like she had an '85 Tercel wagon. He had the '85 4Runner, and they were both rusted to high hell and Boone back by right before I had my license.
Yeah. $8,500 for that. Not bad. 1996 Nissan D21 hardbody 4-door.
Oh my.
That's fucking good.
I like that.
I really, really like that. They had a Yoda on here, and I can't for the life of me find... that might be it. Hilux pickup, 2.4 turbo diesel. Yep, that's it.
For sure, absurd the second one kicking the Equator, the Suzuki Nissan out of my driveway. Those are tough to come by. That's a good looking rig.
Uh-huh. I really like that. I'm not sure what the turbo diesel gets MPG wise.
Should be good.
I would think so. I mean,
there's a reason that's popular everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, that one's...
Whereas the Oldsmobile diesel really ruined it for Americans in 1980.
Well, Oldsmobile ruined a lot of things, if we're honest. But
they can't all be the Rocket 88.
But I'm torn because the hybrid Maverick gets 40 mpg in the city, but I kind of don't want a hybrid yet because I just think it's just more shit to go wrong. So the EcoBoost is going to get a strong consideration. Plus, they're fast as fuck too. Savage Geese did a quick. He's like, this thing is way faster than it has any reason to be because it's pretty light. They're pretty lightweight. Problem is that you can't find one.
Yeah.
And you can't order one. 2023, they're all...
Yeah, they got their orders in and this stopped it.
They're going for as much as $40,000.
Yeah.
Used.
Which is funny because it was initially built as being like a new $20,000 or $25,000 truck if you can find a base model for that much money.
Mm-hmm. And I thought about just getting a fucking van, like a little Ram... like little box van truck thing, and just like fucking pimping it out.
No, the move is the Mazda 5. Last year that existed was 2015.
I need a little more ground clearance.
Probably put a CX-9 suspension in it.
Oh, the world's only lifted manual transmission minivan with sliding. You know what? It's not a bad. Are they all-wheel drive or front?
Front.
That's okay.
They were all only front,
That's
and
okay.
only the base sport model had the stick option.
You know, you could get a hybrid Maverick, but only in front wheel drive. You can't get a hybrid with all wheel drive.
That's weird considering what some cars are doing. That it'll have gas propelling one side of the car and hybrid powering the other side of the car.
Yeah.
So it's technically an all wheel drive, but depends on who's doing the power.
Right. Yeah. There's not a lot to choose from. It's getting a little bit old to get 17 miles per gallon, like as your average. It's pretty shitty.
I did see a late XJ Cherokee in Concord, but I've not further investigated. All I can tell you, it's a 4-door in maroon.
I wouldn't mind that. I would rather have a 2-door now. Just only because I never have passengers.
Yeah.
And it's the same size. They literally, Jeep just
stretch the doors.
Big fucking doors.
Yeah.
Well, the rear doors on the XJs are fucking tiny anyway, so don't really...
I know. I remember climbing into that, and it was woefully uncomfortable.
What do you mean a bench seat with one giant piece of foam is uncomfortable? Ugh.
Yeah, that was a rough trip to and from Bryson.
Yeah, and you can't exactly lay down in it because the damn thing's so narrow. Yeah. So it wasn't meant to have. I'll just convert it to 2-seat, like put 2 like S2000 seats in it.
Nice. So you're gonna be roughly right back where you were.
Yeah, exactly. Although still haven't heard from that guy. Oh well.
Well,
mate.
The check cleared, right?
The check cleared.
And if you really need another S2000, I could badger my in-laws' neighbor that has one. It doesn't have a hardtop though, but it's another silver one. Yikes!
In a perfect world, I'd love to have another one as an extra car, but I don't need one.
Yeah, it's just an awful lot of money for something you don't drive.
Right. Yeah, and the Maverick's kind of a quirky little. I mean, it's a good-looking little truck too. So I mean, I like them, but I think I'm just going to see what comes out. Mine's paid for. I don't really need anything, so just kind of see if anything cool comes out. I looked at that Volvo V60 cross-country wagon. That is gorgeous. However, I don't really know about the long-term reliability.
Well, my experience with Volvos was a long time ago, but it's kind of a mixed blessing. I totaled one that I did because anytime I went in the shop, this was in the late 90s, was $500 to fix whatever. Mm-hmm. And I can only imagine with time and complexity, the newer ones are only going to be worse.
Oh, the top of the line one.
It's like I would have loved a C30, but that would have been an expensive Swedish meatball.
The top of the line V60 cross country is all-wheel drive, turbo, and supercharged and hybrid.
Yeah, that's that twin charging. It seems like a neat idea, but that's a lot of. I see. Also, your concern for the hybrid Maverick. A lot of shit to go wrong. Yep,
and Ford actually, according to Smoking Tire, Ford had the most recalls of any manufacturer last year. So that's another reason I would be quite hesitant. Nissan was the only Japanese car company on there, and it was 10th, which means it's still better than every American car was on there. The only thing I didn't like was they lumped together groups. So like number 3 was Stellantis, and number 2 was Volkswagen Group. That covers a shitload of people.
Yeah.
And they are radically... The Stellantis group is radically different than each other. Well, you know what? The Volkswagen group is too, because Porsche usually isn't that bad. Volkswagen is, and Audi is. Who else is in that? Is Lambo's on?
Yeah, because Audi owns Lamborghini. Hence the whole V10 swap you can do with your... A8 to make it sound like a Huracan or something crazy like that.
Yeah. Do you like Lamborghini better, or do you like
Audi-Gini?
Audi-Gini. It sounds like I don't know what it sounds like. I was going to say a stripper's name, but those are more like Trixie and Bubbles and Candy and Aspen. I don't know why I said
in
it
case
like
you
that.
spit too much on your Durango, you got the Aspen.
Yeah.
Or back in the day, you spent too much on your Volare, you got the Aspen.
Yeah. You know what? I should have just bought that fucking Durango with the stick conversion that we had out here. That was cool as shit. What an exciting way to get 10 miles per gallon. That's the opposite of what I need to be doing. Like, I don't even mind the size, too, but I don't know. They're teasing an HRV A-spec. And I was like, well, that would be cool. We can have matching ones. Have a slow one and a fast one.
I do believe that's called the RDX.
Those are so fucking good looking, but they're still kind of fucking expensive. Like, I think I found one. The cheapest one I found was like $27,500, but it had like 170,000 miles on it already. So, and it's an A-spec, and you know what people are going to do to that thing and then sell it. So, I'd be kind of worried about that. It's gorgeous though. That blue color. Actually, the red isn't bad either. I did decide my next car is not going to be white. It's going to be...
Having too much fun keeping this one clean?
It's not that bad. I just want teal or like a purple color or maybe like a red or something. Something different.
I found a 2020 Corolla hatchback in what they call paprika, this reddish-orange color.
I think I've seen that.
Really like that one.
Yeah. It's not a metallic either. It's just
I think it is.
It is metallic. I think I've seen it before, and I don't think I've seen it in person. I think I've seen it in pictures. What did I see the other day I was going to tell you about? It was like an 80s fucking Peugeot. Like when they actually brought them to the U.S., like a legal left-hand drive.
Yeah, they were around till the mid-'80s.
I was like, the fuck?
There was a guy at work that drove those, and there was a family friend in Greensboro that had those.
Yep.
And that's about it. Like
It
I think
was cool.
they kiboshed it. I think by 91 was the last one with the 505.
Yeah. It was cool, though. Like the guy driving it had like the cabbie hat, and then I think he was so old you could see the ear hair coming out of it from where I was sitting in my car. So, but it was cool. I was like, the fucking, this is a Peugeot. I didn't know how to say them when I first saw that word. I'm like,
a Pugiat?
Yeah, Pugiat.
Yeah, whereas the only one I could afford is a Pugiat bicycle.
How long did they make those in the U.S.?
I think the same time frame. No lying about it.
Never mind. I was going Rampart with that, but I couldn't. It was Rampart line. Should we delve into the news, Steve? I thought I had more than this, but there really hasn't been that much news in the last 3 months as far as these three topics. 2023 Suzuki Jimny is now available as a four-door.
Hooray! Best I can offer you is an 87 Samurai.
But we still can't get it because...
too tiny, no safety emissions regs for it, and Suzuki withdrew from the U.S. market 10 years ago.
True, but can't somebody just rebadge that fucking thing and build? What would you see it rebadged as?
It'd be swapped, so it'd be a Nissan, like per the Frontier Equator thing.
Yeah,
it'd be the Pathfinder Sport for all I care.
Nah, I think we should. I think Nissan. You're right. Nissan should bring it back, but it should be called the hard body. They should bring back the hard body as a Jimny. I'm okay with, or just bring back the fucking hard body. Bring back small trucks, damn it. We want small trucks.
There's the Mav. That's about it.
Yeah, because I would honestly rather take a pogo stick with a broken spring to work than drive a fucking Santa Cruz. Because that is, I've seen them in person. I've seen them in pictures. They're just fucking ugly.
We have Subaru Baja at home.
I would have rather it been a Baja. Like somebody rendered a Baja, like, and actually somebody's done that, and they've rendered a new Honda Element. Looks really fucking good. That would probably sell if Honda would bring back an Element.
Yeah, or even do an Element based smaller Ridgeline.
Yeah, because they have enough platforms now that they could probably do that.
They brought back the Passport
good
as but why?
They're selling. I see them. I see as many Passports on the road now as I do Pilots, which is but I don't think you need.
Does your Pilot have too much room?
Well, you could kibosh the Pilot and then just have the HRV. The HRV is as big as the old CRVs are. So you can have, because you would definitely not need more room. Her HRV is very spacious, but it's only 2 inches bigger than her last HRV. But it drives and it feels bigger too. So yeah, well, the Pilot's 3 rows, isn't it?
Yeah. Passport
is 2. So
Passport's 2.
I thought no, Passport's 3.
Its Starter Life is 2-row.
I'm pretty sure the Honda the new one is. That's a Honda Passport 3 rows. Oh, you're right. There you go.
That's why it seemed a little baffling they brought something the size of a Pilot to market, but without the 3rd row.
I could have sworn it did, but I was wrong. That's a good-looking white one with the black wheels. Passport on Carvana, $32,000, 15,000 miles. Nope, I don't need that much fucking space. I don't need a bigger car.
Yeah.
Actually, her HRV is about the same size as the Jeep is, except it's not as tall. It's as wide and as long.
Huh.
It's as wide as long, but my spare tire sticks out.
Yeah.
So technically mine is longer. And then just forget about the fucking Gladiator, because that will not fit in my garage. I measured it. It's that fucking big. Could they not just chop the last 2 doors off and then have a Comanche again?
Can or won't.
They won't. They sell enough Gladiators. They don't need to fucking do that. They're not going to listen to me. Mazda is reviving the rotary engine as a range extender for the hybrid CX-30.
That's awesome. Full.
Applause to them for the thought of it, but I never thought that, hey...
Just in case you need a range extender to leak oil.
On your battery and then blow up both of the things.
Instant engine fire.
Yeah. Evidently, it is a much simpler rotor. Because it's not powering the vehicle, it doesn't have to be as big and complex. So.
Yeah, it's effectively a generator rather than engine.
And they are smooth. They're as long as you don't put an exhaust on them, they're quiet. They run really smoothly and at high RPM. So, to a point, I get it.
And if it's going to be in more constant motion.
Mm-hmm. I like the CX. I like the way it looks, too. Have you seen the picture of it?
It looks more like the whatever mobiles, the CX-5 and whatever came after it.
They had the least
We've seen the new CX-50. The back end of it looked really strange.
Yeah, but the front of the CX-50 looks really fucking good.
Yeah.
The Mazda had the least amount of recalls. They're good. They're really nice.
Imagine selling the fewest cars. Whoops.
Fair.
They're hanging on to the American market by a thread, but always have been.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, out of the big four of Japan, and there's only a big one in Korea because they're owned by the same fucking company. Chevrolet is introducing this month a hybrid Corvette.
That's don't really care. Not moved either way. That's still them continuing to ape Ferrari as per always.
Yep, for a third of the price.
What's even got more enthusiast panties in a wad is the announcement of the Corvette Sport Ute.
Yeah, just
do what I do, guys. Don't buy it.
There's a time.
I mean, never mind. The Escalade V is effectively a Corvette Sport Ute already, or the Trailblazer Super Sport back in the day,
that was a nice looking SUV actually. And Fuckface's mother had one, and we used to take that sometimes to trips, and that thing would fucking scoot.
It'll pass at everything but a gas station.
Ha 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 ha.
The guy I bought the '07 Tacoma from, he said he had one and gave it to his daughter, and she gave it back to him because she couldn't afford the fuel.
Yeek. Now, what kind of gas mileage did the original Taco get?
27-ish on average.
That's not bad. I'd like to get 30 on the highway would be nice.
Yeah, I think 30 is possible on the highway in that, but it felt so light, like in like a big cross breeze, it got a little squirrely.
Yeah, also, the only thing I don't like the MPG of the Wrangler, which I can look past. The one thing I really don't like is the gearing of the Sport. The Rubicon gearing is a lot better. The Sport, I keep it in fifth unless I'm doing 80 miles per hour, and then I put it in sixth. Like, even up to 70 or 75, I still keep it in fifth just because there's more torque available, just because the way the gearing is in the Sport.
To tell you about the Jetta took out a month ago, it was a 22 Jetta 6-speed with what appeared to be a 1.5 turbo in it.
Yes.
If I hit a hill on the interstate, I had to downshift the fourth.
Oh, my goodness.
Because it would be gutless at 70.
Are they heavy, too?
No, it's Jetta, 3,000, 3,200 pounds. So still small car, but just couldn't get it out its own way. It made a delightful noise, but it was not quick.
Yeah. I mean, the move would be, this is going to, if I had much more time and money, there was a salvage title Maverick for sale that was fixed already, and it only had 8,000 miles on it, and they wanted $17,500 for it. Okay, I thought it'd be a great idea to get this out because you could fucking toy with that; it wouldn't matter.
So you're
get that,
get your own Ed Bullion on,
get that, yes, and then manual swap it. That would be the fucking dream.
Focus ST swapped Maverick. Problem solved.
The idea is to get a little bit better gas mileage than I have now.
The Ford Transit Connect with the ST swap, I really like that. But
That's
apparently
cool.
It had Christmas trees still going on in that thing.
Yeek.
Whereas I'm supposed to be getting a Transit Connect as work van, but that's been going on for 4 months.
Yeah, I like the little actually the new the Ram, I forgot the name of it, but the Ram Mini box truck thing.
The ProMaster City.
ProMaster City is actually made as a Fiat something or other in Italy, but they're discontinuing it in the U.S. because Fiat's actually making them all electric, which is fucking perfect, like for the city drive. I mean, of course, it makes sense. Don't think I didn't think about something like that though, because I could just throw every fucking thing in there and just be on my way. But it has no character.
You'll live down by the river.
Yeah,
well, that's like the pen and mural on it, like the old days.
That would be cool though, to get a high mileage one. Just have everybody come over.
So rather than rolling heavy, you'd be rolling lightweight.
Yes, I feel bad for our drummer. He's like renting a U-Haul van for $20 every time we have a show because he can't fit all the shit in his GMC Terrain.
I think the power move there is get a deprecated conversion van.
Isn't that a Dashboard Confessional song? Deprecated?
Yikes.
Speaking of vans,
I still hate that band.
I can't get into it either. I'm not usually a General Motors product fan unless it's like Corvette or something. But our neighbor got that new Canyon with the elevator. That thing looks great. The white with the black wheels. It gets decent gas mileage, too. I think it's in the mid to high 20s on the interstate.
Did you name it Christie?
It's really, like, was it here when you pulled up? Was it outside?
Didn't pay any attention to anything. I just saw the Nemesis F-150s parked on the street, so that's why I parked behind the house.
Yeah. I'll point it out to you when you leave if he's there, but it's a damn good-looking truck. I mean, I can't... GM's gauge cluster always bothered me because it was always green numbers with fucking orange needles, and I can't fucking look at that shit for that long. Because the Jeeps is red needles with white, and then BMWs are all red. I think.
Yeah, I think
fatigue.
They changed. Well, I think they changed that because red-green colorblind people couldn't see the gauges, which is also why the Vibes later on went from all red to, I think, orange needle with white numbering.
Gotcha.
But mine had all red instrumentation.
Mine was, in the Starion, were all orange. Remember when everything that had white face gauges was supposed to be like sporty? Yep. I still like white face gauges.
And the aftermarket kits to do such.
Yep. And it like wouldn't fit.
It never fit right.
We had a buddy with my buddy Josh Hagler had an autumn orange Mustang GT, and then our buddy Michael, who's married to Josh's sister now, I think probably still married, he had an autumn orange Ranger. It was really pretty, but he got white face gauges for that, and I do remember them not exactly lining up correctly.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good-looking truck.
You get one of the last OG Rangers with a 4-cylinder, but you would not be able to get out of your own way with it. It's like the 2.5 4-cylinder.
I thought about getting a 4.0 Ford Ranger pickup with,
Or mine's a B Series.
That would actually be cooler. And I put like the modern Mazda logo on.
Kibosh that in 09.
That seems... Because the new Ranger is huge.
Yeah, that's a 7/8 size F-150.
I understand shit getting bigger, but you're telling me...
That's a lot big.
You're telling me all these engineers can't figure out a way to make something safe, but also not as big as your fucking house. Like, the Wrangler's actually... When I first got it, I was like, this is gigantic. But I came from an XJ, which is the size of this table. So comparatively, yes, it was big. But really... It's not big at all.
Yeah.
It's pretty normal size.
Whereas going from the Vibe to the Cyrolas, those are smaller cars.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
they lost 2 inches bumper to bumper and 6 inches in height.
I think the Maverick's like 8 inches longer than, or 6 inches longer than the Wrangler, but it's also 8 inches like shorter, and it's the same width. So it would probably just drive exactly the same anyway. But the Wrangler drives narrow because the fenders actually stick out further. Yeah. So when you're looking at the hood, it doesn't seem as wide. I don't know.
Which has got to make driving one with giant wheels a bit awkward if you don't see where those are going.
I couldn't fucking imagine. I could not imagine. Goodyear has debuted a new tire made of soybean oil, rice husks, and pine resin. So when
Delicious.
When your tires are done and they're no longer serviceable, just throw them in the crock pot.
Thanks, I'll stick to last night's beef stew instead.
That's my favorite Greens Today song is Beef Stew Jaded. I haven't had a good beef stew in a long time.
This turned out fantastic. I use entirely too much cayenne in it, so it has quite a kick.
So you do beef, carrots, onions, potatoes?
Didn't have potatoes, but beef, carrots, onions, celery, bunch of seasoning, a bottle of Oktoberfest, a bottle of Copper Compass, like that knockoff Sam Adams, and half a bottle of New Belgium 5054 for this one.
Bro, that sounds delicious.
And 2 cups of Old Vine Zinfandel midway through.
Fuck yeah.
And some peas midway through.
You keep those.
That turned out fantastic.
I will eat peas if it's in like hibachi or in like a soup or like that or something, but I'll never eat a side with.
Got to pretend something's healthy in it.
No, you don't. Who makes these rules? Who said?
Yeah, I was like, well, I have 4 quarts remaining, so if you're so inclined.
I would not mind trying that. I haven't investigated much of cooking with beer. Not as much as I should. Beer can chicken is where it's fucking at.
Well, do you have a crock pot or something like it?
I do have a crock pot.
I'll show you the not secrets to this. It's about as easy as it sounds.
But pour it all in the bag with the beer, and then fucking put it on low for 8 hours or high for 4.
I gave it high for 4, low for 3, high for another hour, and then just let it simmer afterwards. So
interesting.
Finally got around to eating it about midnight, but yeah, that turned out real good.
We've been like when we do crockpot shit, we'll put it in. I'll put it in at like
probably right before work.
Right before work, or I'll put everything in, and I'll have Emily turn it on when she leaves, just because there is kind of a fine line. I've cooked stuff on high. I'd rather cook it on low, but I've cooked it on high before, and I actually like it. It wasn't as. It was still tender. It for the time difference. If you're in, if you're like shit, it's 1 o'clock. I don't have anything.
Mine turned out tender without completely collapsing this time.
Okay.
So I think this being my third one, and this is following my 3rd prime rib and my 3rd pork belly. 3rd time's really been the charm for all of these.
Well, the more you do something, the better you're. Well, not always, but theoretically.
Practice is making delicious. How about that?
Perfect practice makes perfect. Yeah.
Whereas last weekend, did some grilling with cheap ribeyes, and they were delicious if overdone. But with the seasoning and the olive oil, they were still tender.
Yes. Beef is one of... You can overcook it, and it still have good flavor. You can't really do that with a lot of the other meats.
Chicken can get overdone, over-dried.
Yeah, pork is kind of the same. But if you put enough barbecue sauce on it, it's usually okay.
Pork's pretty forgiving.
Yeah, pork's my favorite meat.
So long as you get the temperature to where it's not going to kill you, you're fine.
Correct. Tesla is...
For else, there's gravy.
Yes. Tesla offering a retrofit round steering wheel to replace the yoke because it was a stupid fucking idea.
You're saying reinventing the wheel was a bad idea?
Well, oh, how the mighty have fallen, Mr. Musk. I don't get it. Every time I see a Tesla, I just look at the body, like I look at the panel, because, make fun of my Jeep for panel gaps. You can do that. However, it wasn't sold as a luxury item.
Yeah.
It was made to do something, and that's what it does. And actually, the panel gaps on the Jeep are actually pretty fucking good. I was going to
say, don't worry about the panel gaps. I put the door on crooked. What do you want? It's my fault.
The panel gaps on Jeeps have been better since Fiat took over in 2011. So, but every time I'll point it out to Emily. I'm like, Emily, look at this. I say, you see how the hood's crooked? She's like, oh, I do see that. I was like, yep. How much money did they spend on that fucking thing? And then tell me it's self-driving, and it's really not.
But hey, now it's 20% off.
I still don't want one. If I had to get an EV, honestly, you know what I'd probably do? A fucking Chevy Bolt. Because they've made 1 million of them, and it's by General Motors, who's made hundreds of thousands of cars. And they're a car company.
And those appear to at least hold up pretty well.
They do.
Considering the rest of the company.
Right. But if you needed, if you really wanted an EV...
Except for the whole, fire thing.
Oh, if you really needed an EV, I think they fixed that. But if you really needed an EV, you would be...
That's what the aforementioned recalls are for.
Yep. You'd be really hard-pressed to find better than a Leaf or a Bolt. I'd rather have the Bolt than the Leaf, actually, which is...
The Leaf is as icky. It doesn't matter which generation. It's just icky, weird, and limited range.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if Emily and I... If like Emily and I or you and Kay live downtown and you work downtown, having an EV for downtown and then a gas-powered car to take trips is like the perfect fucking thing. So, and that thing would be easy to park. Yep. Like Farrah said, I don't think making 1,200 horsepower, 9,000 pound SUVs that are all electric are saving the planet. I don't think they're doing that.
No, that's a lot of resources. that's a lot of lithiums.
Honda and Sony are teaming up to make an EV called the Afeela. Afeela. And have you seen it? It's a sedan.
It's dumb.
Steve hates sedans.
And that name's doing nobody any favors.
That is a dumb name. It's not what is the dumbest car name?
That's up there.
I don't know. Subaru Brat. This is pretty stupid. But does Brat mean something?
At least that was some sort of acronym. So at least
what was it? Boxer something all-terrain? Because they're all Boxer engines.
Something about that.
Well, Boxer engines and flat engines are different. You did know that, right?
Sure.
Boxer engines do this, so that but flat engines are just like an inline four. That's this way. So, but technically, Boxers still do this.
Yeah,
Boxers don't always just like do this, but yeah, that's the only.
I would hope your pistons aren't colliding.
Then
you got a big problem.
That's the new Power Man 5000 song coming out when pistons collide. You got a real problem. And Steve, Ken Block.
Rest in peace.
Yes, in peace. Dying doing something mundane, just snowmobiling.
Snowmobiling. So apparently it endoed.
Yeah.
Remember. And then a week later, I lost my Uncle Ken.
Really?
He was 80 and had...
Not the one in Asheville.
No, the one in Lexington, Virginia. Oh. He's had a lot of health issues. I hadn't seen him since my sister's wedding in 2015.
Jeez. Well... Yeah,
between a crushed pelvis, COVID, COPD, a detached cornea, had been on oxygen, and then it seems like what did him in was finally downsizing from this house that he'd built in 1977.
Yeah.
That 2 days after that, it just didn't wake up.
Jeez. Well, that's a good way to go, though. You go to bed, never wake up. I mean, that's the best way to fucking die. Like, I think there's probably the reason Emily's grandmother. She'll be 92.
The other day that we didn't go to Saucer, and I've said like, yeah, I'm feeling down and down. That's why.
Well, I am sorry to hear that.
He was the one that had the small army of stick shifted Accords back in the day.
Oh, nice.
That was the 85, the 88, the 91, the 94.
Did he have the hatch?
No, they were all sedans. But I almost had an 85 Accord that was his old car as my first, but they got rid of it right before I got my license.
I actually would not mind having one like I had, the 93, except a four-door. Just having one of those square body Accords with a stick, because it was really fun. And it got really good gas mileage.
I want that as a wagon, but those are impossible to find.
Dude, you can get it. I bet you could find a right-hand drive one. I would actually trade the ground clearance if I could find...
Put a CRE suspension on it. Problem solved.
If I could find a really...
Take car and its SUV counterpart... It fixes everything.
If I could find a really clean right-hand drive Honda Legend, would be so fucking cool with the 5-cylinder, transversely mounted.
A Vigor?
The Vigor with the 5. Yeah, it had the longitudinally mounted but front-wheel drive. That would get a very strong consideration.
Yeah, those are few and far between.
Even the Legend had the 6 in it, right? 3.2 liter V6. But they made that with a stick.
And the sedans had 5 speeds, and the coupes had 6 speeds when that was not yet commonplace.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the Corvette ZR1 was the first American market car with a 6-speed in the late 80s. And then slowly they trickled in.
Viper was the second one.
Then it had the Camaro Firebirds, the Legend Coupe, the Supra Twin Turbo, the Fast and Furious generation.
Mm-hmm. Then the last, I think
that 2020 Impreza still had a 5-speed.
There's a couple cars that still that were surprising. I think the Evo 9 still had a 5-speed.
That would have been mid-aughts.
Yeah, I think it still had a 5 because the Rex had the 6. I wouldn't
The 2013 WRX had a 5, but the 2015 had a 6.
Okay. Maybe I got it wrong. I think...
And the STI had the 6-speed earlier.
Right. But there was an Evo you could get with a 5 instead of a 6. But so I forgot what channel it was, but they were comparing the NA1 and NA2 NSXs. And, of course, the first one had a 5 and the second one had a 6. But they were like, if you're doing, like, canyon driving, they said the 5-speed was better geared for it because you could keep it in second because it revved at fucking 8,200 RPMs.
Yeah, so if you do 70 in second gear, that's what my VR6 GTI could do.
Yes.
Which came in handy when the clutch was acting up.
Yeah, the S2000 didn't do it, but that was a 5-speed and the S2000 was 6-speed. But you could still, I mean, it would still... There's very few cars that sound that good at that RPM. This is just the best.
Are you saying an 05 Tundra wouldn't? It was
doubtful.
Dad's mechanic in Greensboro currently has an 05 Tundra with 200,000 miles on it, 4.0 V6, 6-speed, 10 grand. Yikes. We need to take 5 because that would be kind of perfect for imaginary truck.
Yeah, but you always like trucks. I do, but
it's like I don't need it. It's just it's this sort of thing. Like to have another Toyota truck, that would be cool, but kind of haven't needed a whole lot since I downsized a decade ago.
Yeah, but I'm doing a lot.
And then I got my first 6-speed and I replaced it with a 6-speed and another 6-speed. I replaced it with another 6-speed. Apparently not the $48,000 GR Corolla where the guy already took a bath on it.
It's not worth that. Like it
is a fine $35,000 car, but not for $50,000.
Well, Savage Geese got a Civic Type R, but he got it at sticker. And then people gave him a bunch of shit about it. They were like, you made a video saying you got the Civic Type R at sticker when none of us are going to be able to do that.
You didn't hunt long enough, dude.
Well, and they were like, you did it because, or you got it because of who you are. And I'm like, well, yeah, but the way he put the video out was not braggadocious or anything. He was saying he had a relationship with Honda. He's had a bunch of Hondas, and he's bought Hondas over the years. He is a Honda fanboy. So they're going to profit over him getting... So it's...
exposure.
Well also... It is exposure, but so say you and I have a band, or say you have a band and I have a band, and I'm friends with somebody who runs the radio station. Am I probably more likely to get a bigger gig, like opening for a bigger? Probably, only because I know people. So it's not what you know most of the time. It's
who you know.
Yeah, but it
speaking
didn't come
of,
off.
are you
like
playing
that.
next Saturday?
What's that?
Are you playing next Saturday?
Yeah. High Branch.
There was a possible opening that somebody might have had. That's why I'm asking.
Where?
I don't know, but it would have been 9 to 11, I presume PM. So that would have been later for you anyway.
Mine's 5 to 7. So if it was like a trio gig, if it was like full band.
She was looking for something acoustic.
Oh, Kayla.
Yeah, you saw that too.
She messaged me.
Okay.
Yeah, she messaged me. Yeah, for sure. She's like, hey, you still looking for gigs? I'm like,
all the time.
All the time, even though I'm playing gigs all the time. I haven't counted it. My record was 72 in a year, but I'll bet you I got close to that last year.
Speaking of personal records, I listed a bunch of stuff on eBay at the turn of the year. And and in the last month, I've sold enough stuff that there's a comma in it. Very nice.
Yeah, tell everybody the story about New Year's Eve. Just like you kept checking your phone.
It's like kept checking the phone. It's like, all right, this sold, this sold, this sold. Like the magic of pawning off these Super Nintendo games I've been holding on to forever. It's like, well, I already have the means to play these games and not using the actual cartridges. The cartridges are worth a lot of money. So sorry, those of you looking for a copy of Final Fantasy VI in box or Chrono Trigger. The both of those were over $500 right there.
Jesus.
Yeah.
For a fucking cartridge game.
Uh-huh.
That's incredible. I had to check my text message to make sure that guy hasn't messaged me about that gig yet.
All right.
She must have unsubscribed from me. She's like, "Hey, you still looking for gigs?" Because I was like, "Well, if you knew, if you watch my, well, I don't know. She might not have I don't care, but
hey,
I'm averaging. All right, so this Friday I didn't have a gig for the first time since October, so that's no complaints. But I will say that my Food Lion paycheck looks pretty shitty lately, but at the expense of my health, it's much better.
You know, if you can get away doing 34 hours a week, so be it.
I did 30 last week. feels good.
Is there any minimum to remain insured, though?
No.
Okay.
I'm listed as full-time in the system, and there's no way to change that unless I change it to part-time.
Okie dokie.
And then we would be having fucking words if I got changed.
Yeah.
But if insurance wasn't tied to employment, I could probably teach guitar lessons to children and play gigs and make exactly what I make now, but that's the stupid shit we have to deal with sometimes. What's next, Esteban? And if you want some more bourbon, I got that too.
Yes, the both. I've got a couple of other of the beers from the Costco Mix Pack.
Grab what you want.
The Neon Bear Hug.
That's a great name.
The Lagunitas Little Something Ale and Elysian whatever IPA. I think I'm going to do that one.
I love Little Something. So I would like a Little Something. And I'll pour you a Little Something.
Certainly. Yeah, that was Chris's gift from Jay. Thanks, Jay.
And going back to cars, though, it's like I really like the idea of the truck to just be able to throw not have to place everything perfectly in somewhere. I can just toss it in the back and then carefully place guitars. I did get a new guitar, guys. I got a Mira, and I've been looking for one. And I'll tell the story since I haven't been on air in a while. I was looking for a Mira, which is Paul Reed Smith's answer to like a Les Paul Jr. or a Gibson SG, but it actually stays in tune. They're super lightweight. They were the cheapest PRS core model made, and so people bought them and trashed them. This guy had one for sale, and it was his dad's, and it was on Reddit, of all places. And I was like, I'm going to take this risk and message him, hey, have you... You still got the Mira?
Still have classifieds on Reddit?
Oh, it was on the Paul Reed Smith forum, and then nobody responded. It was like, hey, I have a core Mira in dark cherry if anybody's interested. Chip. It was like 2 months ago from when I bought it, and I was like, message him. I was like, hey, man, I'm interested in the Mira if you got it. Tell me a little bit about it. Yeah, my dad bought it for himself from Musician's Friend, brand new in 2008, and basically it's been in the case with the original strings, and he hasn't played it at all. I'm like, it's a little darker than I was originally wanting. I was like, can I have some more pictures? He's like, sure. Send me the pictures. I was like, actually, that's really pretty. The build date was May 19th of 2008. May 19th is my wedding anniversary.
Like 5 years before you got hitched.
Yeah, so I was like, kind of, you know what? It's a little darker. But then when I got it in person, I was like, never mind. It's beautiful. Like I wanted a little brighter cherry, but the dark cherry looks really, really, really good. It's real classy.
Did you ever get around to having the brandied cherries that Kaylin's made?
That's a better name for that, actually. And no, I have not. What kind of brandy does she use?
Parmesan.
That's the only one I think I've had.
That and using bitter red cherries. I just put mine here.
Oh. I was like, where the fuck is the can?
Hiding.
Where's the can, Steve?
Down the hall to the left.
When somebody's over and they're like, all right, I gotta go to the bathroom. Which one? I was like, open doors till you see a toilet. So Steve retired, or not officially retired, but semi-retired from watching the kiddies for us since Karen is closer by. And
thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
And now since we last met, yes, I've acquired 3 of my own that have been quite the undertaking. So the feral cat community had another litter, so we adopted 3 triple tabbies.
They are so fucking
triplet
cute.
Rather.
They are sweet, playful, adorable,
and
just like you, Steve.
All my fingers are finger food now.
Well, they nibble. They don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Even Cairo, like if I have some food on my fingers, she'll bite down on them. She's been sick. She's been real lethargic. Like she had a cloudy eye, and she was like doing man sneezes like the other day. She's like, are you okay?
Goodness, that's the worst hairball ever.
Yeah, she's calmed down a lot. I mean, I know she's been a turd to guests. But
very food aggressive or very territorial when y'all are gone. I'd take it Karen has experienced this as well.
Yeah, but she sent a picture. Like the third night she fed, she like sat down. Cairo was sniffing her, and she was like, rubbing. She's fine. We are. I'll be back in Vegas next month, and then we booked our trip to New York City in May instead of Toronto because Toronto was like really fucking expensive right now for some reason, and New York was really not.
It sure won't be the currency exchange because that's always close. The Looney's always been close enough.
Yeah, it's fine, but we found the package to stay in Manhattan, right near the Empire State Building, for like I think $14.50.
And Em's been a couple of times, so she'll know a thing or two there.
She has, but she's always been with family, and so she didn't really get to do.
Hey, guess what? This time she still will be.
Then not by blood, but she hasn't been to. We're going to a Yankees game. She still hasn't been to Central Park or Times Square, or she hasn't been to some of the other stuff.
Are you gonna do your
she's
own
been in town for
Die Hard 3 tribute and take a cab like through the park?
I'm not going to do the part of Die Hard 3 where I'm holding a sign in the middle of Harlem. That's what I'm not going to do. But it's Best Western, and it was like the biggest rooms, and it was like a 4.2 out of 5. So I was like,
that works.
It's clean. I don't need, for an extra $1,000, I don't need to stay in a modern chic hotel that has.
No, like is it clean and safe?
There you go. It's
much
both,
like
it's like right near Koreatown is where we're going to be staying, which is fine because I fucking love Korean food.
North or south? That said, I still need to go to Daebak.
Wait a minute.
One of these days.
No, there is no North Korean food. I haven't seen the fucking news.
It's up there with Ethiopian food.
Have you? How was your?
Now it tastes more like an IPA.
This tastes exactly like a little something. It's kind of. It's stronger than the name would suggest. Like not in ABV, but in like flavor.
Yeah,
it's robust.
This is the Full Contact Imperial Hazy IPA.
And good.
Yep. And
oh wow,
that's really difficult to read.
The aftertaste of this tastes like hemp, kind of like weed.
Oh dear. Like the
no,
the Sweetwater G13 I hated.
Please try it. Like it didn't hit me until I said it. That looks like when you order fucking Raiden on Wish. Just wait for it. It's like at the very end, it goes, oh,
yeah,
here's some weed.
I hadn't noticed that before.
Yeah.
That's less bad, but...
It's got a coded on date. I have no idea how to read that one.
27 Jan 23.
There you go. Still in date.
Yeah, that's it. A Best By date on a can of beer. Whereas, assuming it's okay, we'll be cooking with a can of 6.5 beans. That's from 2018. But I told Kaylin about the Rainier beer back in the day. Like we survived a 20-plus-year-old can of beer a long time ago, it's good.
It's a can.
Now tastes more like PBR.
Right. It's been in a can, which I don't know if you've ever seen a clear can before, but I haven't.
It's called a jar.
And it's been in the fridge.
And then if it's a jar, at the door, because the door is a jar.
My dad's first Starion had the Technica package. It was the narrow body, and it would door ajar. Please fasten your seatbelt.
I presume that would have done the same thing that Maxima from the 80s did to have the voice synth on it. It was a tiny phonograph. Thanks, Merrily Martin.
Yeah. Fuck, what was I going to say? It was New York, Koreatown, beer, weed, whatever.
You enjoy Korean food.
Oh, yeah, I do. Still need to try the place across the street.
Yeah, we're making it there one of these days, we swear.
We'll talk off air. Steve, what is the Motor Trend Truck of the Year for 2023?
Rivian.
No, actually. It's a truck that's probably won Truck of the Year 25 fucking times, except this time it's electric boogie woogie.
A Lightning.
Yep.
Got one of those parked behind the work, and it hasn't moved in a month.
It should
sell. We're not in Kansas, so it's not like it froze to death.
Once they actually get everything, the shortages, like that thing's going to sell out. Like any, and the thing is, I'm not like a hardcore ICE person. Like I don't think the infrastructure's there. Like I'm not driving home from a gig and then worrying about having to charge my fucking car at midnight. But
also having a garage, you'd be well set to keep your electric car charged. So at least if when you do that, you're in good shape.
Yes.
Somebody in an apartment doesn't have that luxury.
Absolutely not. Like You're gonna like every apartment that's built now is gonna have, it's gonna have to be redone.
Or you'd have to spend extra on an external garage and keep your car in that. Mm-hmm. So, good, your rent's going up $300 plus charger plus equipment,
paying power. I mean, and that's how that works. It's not solar, which is kind of its own argument.
That's not taken hold.
I really do think there should be. If there's not, I haven't looked at it, but there should be a company that that retrofits your car to be plug-in hybrid or. Because I mean, what do you like? So say I love my Wrangler enough to want to keep it forever. Be like, well, is there not something I can do to like plug-in hybridize it and get much better gas mileage and also,
or even something that you could retrofit a Porsche 911 that it's an electric flywheel you could add to it to basically hybridize a 1980s 911, and so. There are concepts out there to achieve that. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine doing it to a Jeep with that much space under hood. Could be relatively difficult.
And there's still plenty of ground clearance.
This is also me, the engineering school dropout. So ideas are easy. Meanwhile, last night I had a dream that I met somebody that had a 1986 Toyota motorhome. Like, how'd you know it's an 86? Like, it has little pop-out windows. Our 87 didn't have that.
It's got a picture of AJ on the side.
It's like really elaborate dream. Like, this was a lot of fun. I don't know how and why I landed on this. It was like an all blacked out Toyota motorhome. It looked awesome.
In the last year, for some reason, I will be having a dream that I have to pee, and I wake up and I have to pee. Like, my brain's waking me up with a dream that I have to pee.
Well, it beats the alternative.
It really fucking does.
Now you have to change your sheets.
It really does. Like, thanks, brain. I haven't killed all the brain cells from drinking like a fucking lunatic. The 2023 Jeep Cherokee is down to only 2 trims as the brand moves to completely end production.
Again.
The rumor is...
the last ones will be sold in Oklahoma.
Probably. Where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. The rumor is they're going to do a more XJ, or they're going to have a hybrid. Or not hybrid, fully electric. And I think it's going to be the fully electric one called the Jeepster. And actually it looks decent, even though it has a shitty fucking name.
That's something that keeps getting bounced around all the time.
Mm-hmm. It's not bad looking, just I'm still not ready to buy a fully electric car.
We have Luke as our guinea pig for that.
Right. Yes, we do. He got... Polestar 1, right?
2.
You got the 2. Okay, the 1's the sedan. 2's the.
I think so.
Okay, it's not. They're nice looking.
Yeah,
but he makes good fucking money. So because he bought a Polestar.
Yeah. Speaking of, I'm making at least a little bit better money.
Yeah.
No, like seriously, like effective next paycheck, it improved.
Oh, nice. So maybe you can get that GR Corolla and truck.
Yeah.
I had to get rid of your current.
Or I would just, at least update to the 19 plus model and drive that more spiritedly.
ZF has invented a heated seatbelt that supposedly conserves energy, keeping you warm by not having to run the heater blower as much. This much heat on me is probably not going to help.
No, I have a seat heating pad in my car, and it's lovely. Mm-hmm. It costs $12.
I also have a jacket.
Yeah. I've got a little 40-watt heating pad in my car, and it's lovely. That's the same sort of thing I offered to you that, hey, would you like one of these? You declined, but I know where to find more on the cheap.
Study reveals that beer consumers remain loyal to their brand despite price increases. Duh.
Brand.
Well, I think they're thinking,
whatever looks interesting.
I think they're thinking macro. I think that's what they're thinking.
It's like whatever looks interesting and is on special. That's my loyalty.
Do you know how much a suitcase of Michelob Ultra was when I left Friday?
This is a
24 pack.
24
just
pack.
Regular 24 pack,
Mick
12
Ultra,
out the cans. Just Mick Ultra.
$18.
$30.99.
That is Costco pricing for superior beer.
Uh-huh. Yep. but you can still get like the cheap shit. Like you can get the Carlsberg 4 tall boy cans for $5.
That's impressive because that's Danish. It's imported. That's been imported for that price.
We sell so much Carlsberg.
Really?
Because it's 4 tall boy cans for
that
$5.
cheap. That's impressive.
It's,
I remember getting real interested in Danish products after the offensive cartoon had been made back in 2006.
you know, I'm not here to judge. Don't take away my hobbies, right? That was
Mark Maron.
Mark Maron, that's right. Yeah.
I hate when people say don't judge. Fuck you, don't take away my hobbies.
I think his special's coming, his new special.
There seems make one every 2 years.
Crime Junkie is another podcast I've been really all about. That one's good too. Crime Junkie,
and that's not in cahoots with Emily's programming.
No, Crime Junkie. They talk about cases, but they got Crime Junkie, and I'm TST, the Moth Radio Hour because I'm a fucking nerd. What else? 2 Bears, 1 Cave.
Somewhere I've got a generous collection of the Moth, if you're so inclined.
Maybe I do like the Moth. I thought about doing a Moth one time, like ask him if I could tell my story about our situation. Because I was gonna say a good story, but that's the wrong way to put that. It would be a good story to tell. It's not a good story. Mahou Imports, Mahou, of Spain has taken over both Founders and Avery Brewing into their brand. Okay. I don't know what else they own.
I've never heard of this.
What beer do we know that's made in Spain? No.
The only drink product I would associate with Spain is sangria, and it's delightful.
It is. It is really good.
Speaking of a wine product that's not delightful, oh boy, the reduced calorie black box. That's 6.5%. That it doesn't even taste like they had diluted it, but apparently it was just offensive to drink. Like, this is so bad, Kaylin tried to cook with it, and it felt she wasted a batch of noodles having done so. It was both, like, bitter and sweet at the same time, and, like, none redeeming qualities of either. It was the vilest thing ever. And I picked up a cheap bottle of alcohol-free wine once. You know what? Welch is in the business. Just do that. At least then it's tasty, because that was pretty awful, too. Free, F-R-E with a line over it, was better than the reduced calorie wine. No. It was just like, it was, and of course it's wine box because, hey, COVID's not over, guys, so official drink of Quasi-Teen. I pulled the bladder out of the box and just cut a slit in it and just dumped it. And with the dishes in the sink already, it looked bloody because red wine. Good fucking riddance to that. It was so awful.
I will say the NA beers I've had at least still kind of taste like beer.
Yeah.
It's not great, but you're taking, so the NA beers usually they take 5% out of a 5% beer, but with wine, when you're taking,
you're going from 13% to 6% or 13% to 0.
It's aggressive.
It's not a good taste.
No, that's really well. I have a bottle.
I think upon trying to pawn it off on Facebook, I think I got one laugh react, and it's like, this is not going anywhere. I don't need to torment anybody with this stuff.
I got a bottle of Basil Hayden Toast, and I've been just drinking it with my Coke Zeros because it's not bad.
It tastes like burning.
No, it's not bad. It tastes like nothing because it's 80 proof. Because most Basil Haydens are proofed down to 80, which means
water.
It's watered down. You don't really like. This is 100. 100's about the. I don't think I'll drink anything less than 94.
No, the bibs are solid at 100 proof.
Elijah Craig is 94. Like regular ass, like basic Elijah Craig's 94. Much lower than that. To me, you're not really tasting what the whiskey wanted you to taste. You're
Yeah.
tasting water. Like, so it makes a damn good bourbon and
It
cola.
sounds like those Tide ads. With bargain detergent, you're buying water.
Yep. I mean,
With Deer Park, you're buying bad flavored water.
and that a deer pissed in because there's. Have you seen?
We've got a hub based in Deer Park, New York.
Really?
And I made that joke. It was very popular.
Did you did you thank Lewis Black for it? Have you seen his bit about that? There's a deer on my water. I don't want a deer pissing in my water. The best-selling bourbon in 2022.
Well,
Steve.
if you were to start a water brand, it already would be inappropriate to be labeled the way that you'd name it, because what do fish do in water?
Fuck in it.
So, fish fuck water.
If I had a water brand, it would be a picture of a tardigrade because they're the water bear.
Nice.
The best-selling bourbon in 2022, according to Drizzly.com, was Maker's Mark Cask Strength. Maker's Mark's is solid. Regular.
Well, my brother-in-law is
Okay.
a Maker's Mark ambassador, so he's got all the swag from them. I guess he would know. He'd be a good brand to pick on that.
Right.
Because he has
go
all
up
the
there.
wax-covered objects.
I need to message him again and come back up there for a gig because that shit was fucking fun.
Funny you mention that.
That is such a cool logo. That was a fun gig too. I like that. I like that place. I need to go back.
So when did we last do this? Because mid-October is
September
when...
27th.
Okay, so mid-October is when Terminal Tap in Greensboro opened.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been off to a really good start. World Cup was really good for them, too.
I bet so. Funny about having a melting pot of people when you have an event like that. People will show up and watch that event.
And since Kat and Josh are quite the socialites, they had instant fan club to go see, do, drink in, try this.
The Knicks jeans are really good because every one of you, down to your parents, your sister, your brother, all of you fucking look exactly the same as you did when I met you 8 million years ago. Good job. I don't keep up the good work.
Thanks. It's been a steady diet of baby carrots and fancy beer.
I have to have it.
That's the secret.
Yeah. Well, I have an endoscopy on Tuesday, so I won't be at work. So I'm getting scoped this way.
So are you going to the bar Monday?
Probably.
All
I
right.
think I'm going to need to.
One last hurrah.
In case I die on the fucking table or something.
You'll be all right.
I'm going to mention to them that I am a singer because I've read they can not damage, but like when they're going into you, like they just have to be extra careful with whatever they're using. Just like, hey, don't fuck my voice up, please.
No,
that and these are my money makers.
You don't need to be a Diane Rehm.
How did she get that voice? She had actually surgery, I think.
I think something got messed up.
They're just
the way.
sticking a fucking tube down me to make sure I don't have an ulcer because I've been battling a digestive problem for.
Smile for the camera. Smile bigger.
Well, I had the partial colonoscopy, and he's like, "Do you want to face this way and look, or this way?" I was like, I've lived a long time. I don't really need to fucking watch TV of the inside of my own colon. I glanced back, and
I've seen enough assholes. I don't need to see my own.
Well, I looked back, and it was like pink. I'm like, "Yep, that's exactly what I thought it would look like, is a giant pink pillow." Matthew McConaughey is leaving Wild Turkey as a brand ambassador amicably. It was an amicable split. Long Branch will still continue to be made. Long Branch has, I've never had it. It has repeatedly made the top bourbon list for like bang for your buck.
You guys go to the left. I'm going to go all right.
I don't think he goes all right.
No. so direction, not
oh, gotcha.
not Texas politically.
Yes. I don't have much music news either. Steve, rest in peace. Jeff Beck and Lisa Marie Presley.
Goodness, there been quite a few there. Yeah.
I didn't realize Lisa Marie Presley was only
54.
I could have sworn she was in her mid-60s. But, I mean...
well, I got confused discovering it was Priscilla Presley that was in the Naked Gun movies.
Yeah, well... how shitty is her? Like, she's watched Elvis die. Now she's outliving everybody. That would be the argument. Why would you want to live forever? Everybody that you come in contact with is going to fucking die eventually. That would be the worst fucking feeling.
So is that going to be your typo negative song for the week? Everyone I love is dead.
Or Who Wants to Live Forever was a that was a song from, oh man, it was an 80s Depeche Mode.
I don't know, but I was immediately thinking of your Oasis kick earlier.
Live Forever.
Live
We
Forever.
played Live Forever yesterday.
Nice.
So I play we play that in the duo, but actually, do you remember the song Talk Tonight? It was a B-side.
No.
Noel sings it. But I'm a huge Noel Gallagher fan because he was the brother that's not an asshole.
I had been following NME back in the day, but it became nothing but the chroniclings of the Gallagher brothers feud, and I got real tired of that.
It gets kind of tiring. And you know what? They get tired of answering quick. Actually, Noel was like, I'll reform Oasis for $100 million right now. I don't give a shit.
Well, we also lost Gallagher the comedian.
Yeah, but
the watermelons will be safe.
Yeah, but he was kind of a dick, actually. So, you know, you don't want to see somebody die.
One note wonder.
Yeah, it's. I've listened to bits and pieces of his interview with Marin, and uncomfortable.
It was awkward.
It was very awkward.
It's been a long time.
Yeah,
it's just funny to trying to think of I want to listen to that sometime during the print shop era. And that's now coming on 3 years ago that I left there.
Jesus Christ, that is 3 years ago. It was right before COVID.
Yep,
and COVID's been going on for 3 years now. I think I told you my two neighbors, the guy died last year. I haven't seen her in months. I'm afraid she's gone too. Anyway, on that high note.
So they're saying there's vacancies in the neighborhood at $400,000 a pop. Yikes.
Orgy has released a new single called Empty.
Is this devoted to that police chick?
Oh my God.
What the hell's happening?
Dude, the memes are so fucking good. It's like when you tell your husband you took a pounding at work today. It was so funny that Brian didn't know what I was talking about.
I'd seen a little bit here and there. She's got a parquet face, but whatever.
You know what? Put a Burger King bag on it and have it your way.
Speaking of, I hate those ads so much.
Have it your way. Emily got Burger King the other day, and she always gets the long, skinny chicken sandwich. But I was like, just give me a bacon something. She got me the double bacon Whopper. That shit was so fucking good.
No, it was at Wendy's, so they have the mozzarella thing I want to try out.
It's okay.
The Mozzie chicken. It was okay. Right. That's I keep eschewing fast food, and maybe here's why.
It was good.
I'm getting fat enough on my own.
I got it on the way home from gig one time, and I was like, I don't taste enough marinara. Luckily, I had more marinara because they didn't put nearly enough marinara on it. Once you put more marinara on it, it tastes like a chicken parm sandwich. Okay, it's really good. You just have to add more marinara.
Okay, I have the capacity to do that.
Did I tell you the Reddit story about the chili contest? It was true off my chest as the subreddit, and it was the guy entered a chili contest, and all he did was go to a bunch of Wendy's and get a bunch of chili, put it in a pot, brought it there, and he got second place. You know, it works.
I was thinking chili the pepper, not chili the soup my wife will be making later.
Mm-hmm. Wendy's chili becomes so much better if you just put a little ketchup in it. And that's not just because I love ketchup. It's because you make it a little more tomatoey, a little sweeter that goes with the kick of it, and it's really good. It's also really good poured on a spicy chicken sandwich.
Depends on the ketchup, too.
Heinz.
Yeah.
Heinz is the best ketchup.
Heinz exists. If I want to pour sugar on my fries, I'll just pour sugar on my fries.
If you look at the sodium content, last time I checked, Heinz still had more sodium than any other ketchup.
That's
Food
why
Lion
they're
ketchup's
the king.
better than Heinz ketchup.
Well, my sister-in-law, Laura, went to school in Pittsburgh, and swears by Heinz.
Of course, it's the best ketchup. Like it's like when people say,
I think like she has like a little tiny travel bottle she like keeps in her purse.
She's my hero. Did she have she had the baby?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And 5 months in, baby's doing better, but they've had a lot of trouble with Olivia, particularly feeding troubles, crying troubles, sleeping troubles. They've had a rough go of it.
Have y'all kiboshed the perhaps?
It's still very perhaps, but I think the cats are keeping us plenty occupied too. And Kaylin's a little freaked out that, if I have a baby now, I'll be 40 by the time the kid's born.
It's not the age; it's
still
the
keeping
complications.
And plus all the vein issues she had.
Yeah.
That's still not seeming like the most keen idea. So I'm happy to be avuncular.
Yeah, and Emmy was like, "I'm not in a hurry to make you a single father." I was like, "Yeah, me either."
Yeah, considering the everything, that's kind of an impossibility, right?
Yeah, well, that was another. When people ask, "Do we have kids?" No, we can't now.
Yeah.
If she gets pregnant now, it might be a new religion starting because I didn't fucking do it. You could.
I've already heard that story and didn't care about it then.
No, you could put more loads than a New York laundromat in that, and it's fucking not happening. Last up, Steve.
Look, just because we live together doesn't mean we did. Gosh.
Twisted Sister is reuniting for a one-off reunion show this year.
I've never seen Dee Snider and Sarah Jessica Parker in the same room.
Wait a minute.
Nor the two of them with Sammy Hagar.
I was going to say Renee
Zellweger looks different enough. Like, she had Empire Records, and everything else, she looks a little too squinty.
That
apron scene, goodness.
Mm-hmm. I've been on a Eva Green kick.
Natch.
Mm-hmm. God, man.
Did you see Casino Royale?
That's
the first Craig Bond.
Well, I've seen enough of her in that, and in fucking what was the other one with Bruce Willis and the animated comic book movie thing?
Sin City.
Sin City. She was in that, and her tits were in it too.
Oh my.
Yeah, what we got down here? 6 more weeks of winter.
It's not February yet.
Oh, yeah. I'll be 37.
In November, I'll be 42. That's the answer I was not looking for.
Well, just start giving your age in Celsius after this. You'll be a lot younger.
Except for the random foot pain, back pain, shoulder pain, head pain, reflux, allergies. I feel great. Yeah, except for all that, sure. And the fact I'm still looking the way I do at this age, I'm doing something right. I don't know what it is, but also having seen my cousin Scott, who's 5 years my senior, a month ago when we went to Columbia for my cousin's daughter's wedding, like we're still looking all right, man. But yeah, Scott's looking very gray and has a 6-year-old.
That's my gray's coming through a lot, but my hair's falling out faster than it's turning gray.
Speaking of, at the reception, I got cut off.
Yeah, that's horse shit. Like, I've never seen you cut. I've never been cut off. I've never seen you cut off.
I'm pretty sure it's just the barkeeps didn't understand me trying to ask for something in a funny way, and they didn't understand. So it's like, I'm too drunk. I'm a threat. Bullshit.
How did you ask for what you asked for?
I don't remember. I mean, I was already 4 whiskeys in, man. So it's not for it's not for lack of whatever have you. But I just remember, like, really? Well, go fuck all yourselves.
How many times have you been cut off in a bar or brewery? 0 for me. I've never been cut off.
Yeah, never.
Because normally, if you're not being a rambunctious twat, or slurring or falling down,
or actively disgracing the table.
We have closed saucer a couple times.
Yeah.
And not once.
No.
So
no.
I think being intoxicated on any sort of drug alcohol is just an excuse to be a piece of shit.
Whereas my cousin Andy, father of the bride,
Mm-hmm.
they were feeding him triples. So he was beyond, and
Yeah.
they don't know me. They know him. He's paying for this. So he was feeling real rough the next day.
Yeah.
And he's now 49.
Jesus.
He's a retired Army chaplain.
Fuck
so
yes.
he's seen things.
You know what? That's actually... So, you remember my buddy that used to work for me named Eric Massey? Black dude?
He joined the Army. And
He joined the Army.
Like,
Hawaii. He's the Army chaplain in Hawaii.
pardon?
He was gonna. He went to join the Coast Guard, but then he came back and he was like, "Hey, I decided to go ahead and join."
Lifeguards with guns, yo.
Well, he's like, "I don't really want to work at Food Lion the rest of my life." I'm like, "You understand where I'm coming from," but he's like, "I think I'm just gonna join because I don't have it." I was like, "Okay, best thing he ever did. He's in fucking Hawaii as the Army chaplain."
That's wild.
Yep, and he loves it. The thing is about Hawaii, I've heard from multiple people, not just him.
Hey, Forgetting Sarah Marshall was on the TV last night. It's a lovely time.
I have heard that living in Hawaii as a Hawaiian or a member of military is perfectly fine. If you just fucking move there and you're not one of them, it can be kind of tricky.
Buddy of mine, Josh, was in the Navy stationed in Hawaii for a while and really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to go.
He's been in Texas for a very hot minute.
Other than Austin, there's not much in Texas I'd love to see because I can get my music and my bourbon and overall weirdness in Austin. San Antonio would probably be cool to go to, but like Dallas,
Andy
Fort
was
Worth,
there for a while.
Houston,
DF Dubs has real winters.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, all right.
El Paso
like,
might be cool.
The original saucers in Fort Worth.
Whatever.
So does it look more like this one? Sure.
Right. I mean, but if we can listen to Reinventing the Steel and be hellbound in Fort Worth, Texas if we go.
Neat.
If I go to Texas, it's going to be awesome.
If I never go, I'll be Fort Worthless. Darn.
I still want to do a guy's trip. You, me, Brian, Toby. That group of core alcoholics. And I want us to go to Maine, Portland, Maine.
Drunks. We don't go to meetings.
I want to go to Portland, Maine because they have the most breweries per capita. And then we could just sit in like a chalet on the coast and just go to brewery hopping for the entire long weekend. What?
Well, I will have 4 weeks vacation this year.
Okay.
Provided job still survives, and I carried 3 or 5 days from last year to this year that I took off from Veterans Day onward every Friday the end of last year.
Perfect.
So last week was my first full week. I worked in 2 months. It was completely okay, but it felt a little strange having to go in all 5 days. And then what's this week going to be? Short week because we have that off.
Yep.
And the on-call guy had a question for me, and I promptly wrote back, do this, assuming it's not the printer trying to eat itself again. If I need to go in, I'll go take care of the thing and be on my merry way.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything else since. It's 20 minutes. It'll be fine.
Right. You make them pay you mileage.
That's the whole point of like borrowing cars from work to go to other things in a region.
That's fair.
That the furthest one was borrowing the Accord to go to Raleigh. That made a very long day trip.
What Accord was it?
16.
Probably
It
drove
was
really
like
nicely.
it was.
It's an Accord.
Yeah, it was incorrectly transmissioned, but I needed something in a hurry that wouldn't break.
Good. There you go.
So I warned the security guy, I need to pick up this car to go to Raleigh and back, so it's going to be gaining 300 miles. Eric says, okay.
Yep.
Good talk. See you out there.
Yep.
He's having a rough go of it. That'll be off air.
Right. What was I going to say about what I was going to say about. Oh yeah,
a thing or two about a thing or two.
What month would be best for Maine for you? Remember, I can't do February. That's too close, and I'm already taken. May, anniversary. November's cabin trip, which you need to fucking come to.
Summer.
August?
Like July or August should be good since it's far enough up that it won't be nearly as warm versus everything else.
Maine in August should be real nice, actually. Should be like 80 with no humidity.
Yeah, whereas when I went to Rhode Island in August years ago, it was like a high of 60. After they had like a warm week beforehand, but we were there mid-August of 2019, it was chilly. Mm-hmm. So Maine's further up the coast,
right.
So that could be quite plausible to do.
That would be fun.
Midsummer Maine trip.
That would be fun. Let's see, Maine, August. That would be fun because we could just. I mean, it's a 2-hour flight. So
part of the hindrance on the cabin trips is Kaylin doesn't have the generous vacation time that I do.
It's fair.
And her job is driving her crazy. Mine's not doing that to me much.
Emily's job, she's been very happy with. So
something clerical for 50 a year. Go on.
I mean, just saying. So at least you guys can maybe stack a little bit more cash and rent. Maybe it'll come down.
And I'm about to be making Heinz money.
Nice. Well, there are building houses further down Nelson Road. So they got townhouses there.
Yeah, I've seen the the townhouses underway there.
Mm-hmm. And they got single families. 400s. Single families are further down too. So could be something to look into. Mm-hmm. But
whereas the neighborhood near work that we had our eye on a year ago quickly shot up in price. Mm-hmm. And now that I've seen what they look like built, corrugated outside is a really bad look. It's like vertical shingles. It looks like corrugated steel on the outside. It's not good.
Ew.
Yeah.
And you're not able to customize anything because they sell everything they build, and they don't have to.
90% of the houses have the optional luxury package. Where the hell that means? So a few extra dollars tacked on there. But what had been the single level model starting at $250 and the 2-level houses starting at $300 quickly went to the single levels $310 and the 2 levels are starting at $400.
It was like we could move closer to South Park so she didn't have a shittier commute, but then we'd make really good on this. Where are we going to go?
About that.
Yeah.
You'd have to be renting the other half of Adam's duplex.
Right.
Which is a place built in '64 with its quirks, and apparently it was 7 years ago I had the post about, or what he said about, me saving the day with my rental insurance.
Yeah.
After the break-in. Mm-hmm. It's all well and good, except it took till September of that year that they finally ponied up.
They're not.
But it definitely got the vibe from my agent, like just get whatever you need to. Just send me the receipt. Get whatever you need to. Send me the receipt. Mm. Get whatever you need to. Mm-hmm. Like, I should have taken that and ran a bit more, but still got $3,000 worth of replacements. Minus a $500 deductible. Mm-hmm. So, thanks, Cincinnati Insurance. May we never need to do this again.
When my Accord got stolen, the cop was like, "Did you have anything else in the car?" It's like, "I had a toolbox." "Any power tools in that toolbox?" I was like, "No." He goes, "Any power tools in that toolbox?"
All the winks, all the nudges.
I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah." Yeah, I had a couple. He's like,
"Yeah, I'm gonna miss that DeWalt Milwaukee whatever."
Oh goodness, that was 17 years ago.
Yikes.
I was 19. I don't like this getting old shit.
No,
but you know what? Age is not something that's granted to everyone. So I guess we should be grateful for it.
Well, in further bargain hunting, the old AC Moore by the Target in Matthews
Yes.
is going to become an Amazon liquidator store in Matthews. I might have told you about these, where they have the one price a day for everything in the store.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be 20 times bigger than the one in Concord. So shit's going to get rowdy. And I'm going to find so much more crap to resell on eBay.
Like that like that fan.
Yeah. So what his phone you're watching this on from now is the box to a fan I bought for $1. Prior to Christmas, I found 24 of these for $1 a pop. It's this little USB powered fan that's normally $17 on eBay. It's brought to you by the brand Beskar. Apparently that's some sort of crazy alloy in the Star Wars universe to make it even funnier. Also, I thought that sounds kind of like IKEA. Anyway, yeah, so that became instant stocking stuffer. And I still have 8 of them remaining to make the worst jetpack ever.
We plugged it up. It actually does put out a decent amount of air. If I can figure out how to mount that to my mic stand, so I don't have to bring the other fan, like that's gonna get.
It clips, right? Does it hold up okay?
I haven't tried it.
Okay, I think between clips and zip ties, you should be all right.
I used to go through a mic stand a year.
Okay,
because they just would wear out. This time I bought a $110 mic stand, and that's a lot for a mic stand.
I'm sorry, I have not seen a mic stand there yet.
However, every part on it is replaceable and orderable. So the parts that fail on it inevitably, like tightening, because I play a lot of fucking shows, you can just replace that part. So it just pays for itself the first time something fucks up.
So by the end of it, you could buy one and you'll have 2.
Yes. So there you go. And it has warranty on it too. So if anything fucks up on it.
That's kind of the whole notion of this replaceable part thing.
I'm all about easy now. Like, so I had the big 2x12 cabinet. Now I have 2 1x12 cabinets. But it's easier to carry 2 35-pound cabinets than it is one 80-pound cabinet.
Yep.
So, and it fits in the car better because I can adjust as I need to. So it's a lot. It's a lot more. And I can run stereo. So if we were at a place that didn't need miking, I can run one cab on one side of the stage and one on the other side of the stage and have a more stereo effect.
Duke it out.
Yeah. But have them, have them be able to spread the sound out if we're playing an unmiked gig. But trio gigs are fun, man. It's you get paid more as a solo artist, but it's more fun to play the trio because you get the camaraderie and you get to play, different songs. We closed the first show with "Be Quiet and Dry" from Deftones.
Wow,
which was fucking fun to play live. That was a Piedmont Social House, so there'll be more trio shows this year. Are you definitely having chili tonight, or did you message the missuses?
I'm fairly certain that's going to be the thing.
Whoops, what is that? That's not the right button. That's the right button. I'll see if Emmy wants. If she hasn't eaten yet, if she just wants to go somewhere. Can't go to Peel anymore. I'll go.
Damn it, man! Go to Empire.
That might get a good strong consideration considering it's walking distance.
The funny thing that going up the hill, you've got a few options and they're good.
I like the wings and pizza better at Hawthorne's, but I like the other food and beer selection better at Empire.
Remember how I had those Costco gift cards to Hawthorne's?
Yeah. I
don't know where they are. Costco still sells them, but I'd hate to burn $75 on $100 for the cards only to lose them again.
I haven't tried Penn Station yet, but I've heard it's very comparable to Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, back when Jess was not yet Yarzenbeck, she lived next door to the one on South Boulevard.
Yeah.
And I went there then and really enjoyed it, but I've never been back.
Gotcha.
But see, also my lack of fast food.
well, also, I don't love getting I don't love going to sandwich shops for
Yeah.
like when we go to New York. I'm going to go to a New York deli because I've never been. But if I can make it at home, I don't really want to make it.
When Gray was there, he was talking about having some sort of corned beef sandwich that was like this big.
All right, so that's
the psychotic.
That's stupid.
Giant thing.
Like there's a buddy of mine at work. He's like, "Are you gonna put any meat on that sandwich?" And like I was like, It's the right amount. It's 2 pieces of bread, and I had a pepperoni and chicken and Munster sandwich with mayo and a little hot sauce. So it was like 4 pieces of thinly sliced pepperoni, like 1 piece of Munster cheese, and then 2 pieces of not rotisserie, but
sliced deli chicken.
Just two pieces of regularly sliced chicken.
Yeah,
I was like, the sandwich was that tall. He's like, no, I like that much meat. I'm like, just eat wings or a turkey leg at that point. Like,
yeah,
there needs to be there's a limit to this. Like I don't want
my jaw only opens yay far. I'm not a snake.
My jaw opens very far, and I still prefer a very proportionate sandwich. Like, and this.
Yeah, and as much as I love bread, I'd assume to get a wrap, so it's not like one more source of carbs. As I'm, getting more into my 40s, I can no longer boast I've not exceeded 180 pounds. So it's a little bit.
Do you weigh more than I do now?
I'm now at $185.
We're even, but I'm only like an inch taller than you probably.
I'm 6'2".
My license says 6 feet tall, but that's
my
with
license,
shoes on.
My license says 5'9". It's full of shit.
Well, also, the only people that see me without shoes on are you and anybody that lives here. So when I have, when I'm out, I have. Although I've never seen Mac wear shoes. Mac's a sandals guy.
He doesn't give a shit. He'll wear flip flops when it's 30 out.
He will, but he's also 6'3" without fucking shoes on too. So I almost invited him over, but I didn't. I thought it would be kind of quick notice, and he's doing the Uber, so he's probably got a lot of rides today. Oh shit, we're an hour and 50 in. You want to call it now, or you want to keep going?
Just lamenting the loss of the base Impreza, base Civic, base Corolla stick shift. So the WRX, the SI, the GR live on with manuals, but the days of the basic ass car with sticks are dwindling.
Which is something like the Maverick, but I'm okay with the engine, just with the stick. Yeah. Maverick with the stick would be what I would want. So if like Dodge would bring, or if Ram would bring back the Dakota with that picture I showed you,
it'll never not be Dodge Ram, dude.
Right. But if they could bring,
would know.
If they bring back Dakota with that, with 4-door, with was it called crew cab or club?
Depends on who's branded it, but basically the 4-door truck.
There's club cab and crew cab, and then whatever. The Maverick, the size and everything with the MPG, but with a stick. Preferably, that would be what I would want.
The 4-cylinder second-gen Tacoma 4-door with stick and 4-cylinder keeps evading me. I think it exists. Else, you can find something like Feely's truck all the time.
It's like it's hard to get the MPG, like, because your big red truck got horrible miles per gallon.
It got 21-seater highway.
Right.
Going to Charleston in it, driving like a maniac, it got 17 on the way down. Driving like a grandma, I got 25 on the way back, but it averaged 21 otherwise, and that was when gas was first $4 a gallon.
The best I got out of the XJ was 24, but that's fine because it was old and lightweight, and it didn't cost anything to run. By the way, I got 1.4 miles per gallon better with ethanol-free gas in the Wrangler. However,
you go to Perry's for that?
It's
the one at the 51?
No, there's at the car wash right near my store. The
Sam's.
They have,
yeah.
they have
E free there.
E85 free. So it's pure. It's $1 more per gallon. And I get 1.5 miles per gallon better. So it washes out and it doesn't fucking matter anyway. But I will say, the engine, I ran it down to I had 5 miles left and I filled it up with ethanol free. It idled smoother with regular gas, like the regular ethanol free.
Yeah.
It revved better. I had better performance and better MPG. It was $1 more per gallon though. So it washed out. So it's just I get gas there, and I put ethanol free in it now when I go there. But if I get gas somewhere else,
yeah, unfortunately, Costco hasn't offered that, but it's regular and premium. No diesel, no E free.
Well, mid-grade's stupid.
Yeah,
Do you know why?
at the blend.
Because everybody blends it differently. So sometimes you'll get an 89 and it'll have way more 93 in it. Other times it'll have way more 87.
I mean, for what it's worth, the vibe called for 93 or premium, and after a quarter mil, I kept feeding it mid grade when I could. Since this thing's ancient, I'm not revving this to 8K anymore.
How many cars have you owned? Like you've owned. We've both owned 11 now. No, you're on 12. You're one more than me.
Yeah, 11 or 12.
Yes, I'm on 11. You're on 12. Because remember, you got T-boned by an F-150.
That's why I said the Nemesis trucks are taking up my usual parking spot.
How many of the cars you've owned recommended 93 octane?
Two.
The
Vibe and the VR6 GTI.
No shit.
Because the GTI had a chip.
Oh.
That was some sort of electromechanical heresy that had been added to it, because that car had a lower suspension and a chip in it. When it ran, it was amazing, but there's a reason I kept it 5 months.
Both Starions were 93.
Because 80s turbo.
The S2000 was 93. That's 3. I think the TSX was 93. So that's 4. The Cherokee, you probably could have pissed in the tank and it worked. The Wrangler's 87.
You got to drink more of this beforehand, though.
Oh, funny story.
That's going to be more ethanol-friendly urine.
My buddy Terrence, who's going to be on this podcast very soon, you're going to love this guy.
Does he know Philip?
Well, he's black, so I don't know if there's a black Terrence and Philip in Canada. I digress. His part-timer is a really nice surfer dude, but he's an idiot, and he has no idea how anything works. Anyway, the truck broke down. He's on vacation. I had to message him this. I'm like, I know you're on vacation, but I need to tell you this shit. So the Frito-Lay truck broke down, and then they found out, well, he accidentally put diesel in the gas tank, and the engine blew. And so they gave him the next day a gas-powered truck, and that engine blew because he put diesel in the gas tank. So he put gas in the diesel tank, and he put diesel in the gas tank. So he blew up 2 Frito-Lay trucks in 2 days, and he still kept his job.
Was his name Felicia? Because bye.
And they're like, well, we don't have anybody. We can't really. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, no.
No, just lock the fuel filler. He returns it back to base. Somebody else refuels the truck appropriately. No, that is a massive liability. No.
Yep.
No, and no.
And Frito and Pepsi, or Frito-Lay's PepsiCo's owned by Frito-Lay. Frito-Lay's actually going to all electric delivery vehicles.
I'm willing to see him mess this up too.
I need an oil change.
He put diesel in an electric. I don't know how, but he put diesel in an electric.
Window washer fluid.
That's yeah. It was blinker fluid. Thank you. Jeez Louises.
Did I ever tell you the story? All right, so back in the story on group days, he said back in high school, I forgot the guy's name. He had a blue Starion with gull wing doors. He could do stuff in engineering. I don't love it, but he did it where it looked normal.
It's called a Bricklin.
They had a new guy, and he was a fucking know-it-all and everything. They're in mechanic's shop, and he's like, "Oh, we need to replace this hose, this tube right here." And we'll just call the guy Mark. I don't know the guy's name. He's like, "Mark." He's like, "You know a lot about motors, right?" He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "Well, look, we have this tube needs to be replaced, but we don't have any here. But if you go up to cosmetology and go ask them for some fallopian tube to replace this for me." He's like, "I got you, man. I got you." And he went up there and he asked them for fallopian tube. For those of you who don't know what a fallopian tube is, just check your anatomy book in the female version, and you'll see what's going on.
Yeah.
So, Steve, what would you build for your perfect daily driver?
If I get the... What the hell is it? The Morosi, the top spec GR Corolla, but with back wiper, windows at work.
You like the back wiper?
Yes. I like being able to see out the back of my fucking car.
Rain-X. It's a vertical. It just runs right down.
It gets dirty. the whole thing of
Wash
the back thing. No. I don't know washing my gas cap. What are you talking about?
I know that's driving me crazy. It's not my car. The fact that my Jeep is filthy is bothering me, and that's what they're made for.
That's why you don't buy a white car. Yeah, if I could get top spec GR Corolla with all functioning windows and wipers is totally up there.
Gotcha.
Or if I could get a Audi RS3 hatch with a stick. They won't sell that here anymore.
No.
But that'd be up there too.
If you could make me...
Vito product, so it's going to break.
Right.
But, much like the VR6 GTI days, like, this thing's amazing when it runs. But my patience and wallet ran out in a hurry.
Well, what's funny is the most unreliable car you've ever owned is a Volkswagen, which makes sense. But the most unreliable vehicle I've ever owned is a Nissan, which is really strange. Because
both of these made the list on the smoking tires, so there's that.
That's fair, but mine was a 99,
is also,
yours was an 89.
No, the 98.
98.
The 89
Palindrome.
Was riddled with trouble, but we did tow it once because of the cat converter, and a shop in Huntersville couldn't figure out what was wrong with it.
Wait, why couldn't your sister convert something?
Yes, my sister catalytic. Let's see, but this is back. It was her senior year of high school. She's very busy at the time.
This was the Honda Element concept somebody drew, and I would love if they built this. Please load. Don't make me be angry. You would be mildly upset if I were angry. I like it.
Pity they had to put 4 real doors on it.
I would rather have real fucking doors. I would like that. And if they would put a... Honda's never done this, but let's just play pretend. In a 2.5 liter inline 6 from Honda.
Yes.
Would be perfect. And turbo, you could turbo it. 30 miles per gallon highway. 25 city.
Which was a big shortcoming of the IS300 that it runs, it's your budget BMW, but not good on gas. I still like those a lot.
I do too.
But like the ones that survived have been very abused in their 20 years of existence.
Oh, Levi's girlfriend had one at the time, was about to get repossessed, so they switched cars so they wouldn't know where the car was. So I actually rode her a lot in an IS 300. They were really nice. However, if you ever needed a key cut, they were one of those laser cut keys back in the day. So I think brand new, like keys, we had to give Lexus the VIN and everything. It was like $550 for 2 keys in 2000.
Well, that's on par of me having to get additional keys for the Cyrolas that were $250-ish each, because this is Switchblade laser cut key. Because I would very much appreciate having a second key. It's expensive, and having done it for a car that got crashed, well, now I have a key I spent a lot of money on that took 3 fucking weeks at Eastway. So I did not return there.
Nope.
For the second one. Went to Batteries Plus because they can do that.
Well,
then it took 3 days for them to get a spare.
When I got the wheels switched over from my Cherokee, I gave them my old address, and I was like, "Hey, can you guys dismount these wheels?" And I just don't need these things anymore. And they're like, "Yeah, $20 for each." I was like, "Okay," and I just dropped them off and never picked them up. I got rid of them for free, and I didn't have to pay anybody. I didn't get any money.
Are you still sitting on the 5-spokes you don't like?
No, I got rid of those about a year.
Okay.
Actually, a while back.
Okay, I know that plagued you for a while.
Well, they were just sitting there. I didn't.
Yeah.
But they're gone.
Okay.
But now I have the Jeep built. Like, I don't know. Like, Brian asked me, is part of you just bored because you already built it the way you want it and you're done? I'm like, yeah, kind of. I mean, but also,
I have 2 sets of wheels to get rid of from this car.
But also, it'd be nice to have a little truck I could just throw shit in the back of and then put the guitar in the cabin and be. Because guitars are really. I had to readjust the truss rod in my guitars when the heat fucked up in here and everything was getting really, really hot.
Yeah,
I had to readjust everything because it's wooden, so the necks are real sensitive. So you know what action is on a guitar? How far the strings are from the fretboard. You have to, when it gets too hot or too cold, like wood expands and contracts, so like the strings would get real far and real close. Like I had to readjust the necks and everything on everything. So I mean, I have to, but I'm a professional musician. So
thing is, for particularly anything you're playing on, you definitely want to make sure it's configured properly.
There's a very big difference. I could play all 3 of those back to back to back, and you would go, well, that sounds pretty, but there's a feel part to it too. And on that note, I think we're done.
Fair enough.
We'll figure out when next to do this, but time's been very, very weird lately.
Yes.
I'm actually available next Sunday, but
it's too soon.
Well, all right.
Maybe not in 3 months, but something between the two.
Something between next week and next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deal.
All right. Well, he's been Steve.
He's still AJ.
And we are still CBG Pod, even though it's a little less frequent.
Like whenever, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.